I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. This is the Mybo Mykan. So one of my customers brought this bow from me because he wanted it orange. I think that's why he wanted an orange bow. Maybe he wanted the bow. Anyway, my bow is made in England. So if you're a fan of English and you're English and you want to support your own country instead of buying USA and Chinese and Korean and all that other stuff, Mybow's your company. Locally made machine product. So let's have a look at it. Right, so this is the bow. Now the customer owned it for about 2 weeks. He specifically ordered it. And when I say specifically ordered it, I had some in stock, but he specifically wanted orange. Okay, so color, and I make jokes about it all the time, color is the most important thing for a person buying a bow. It's not that they want this particular bow, they want a purple bow. So it's like, okay, right. Okay, so this is the Mybo Mykan. Now you can't use this bow for a sighted recurve because there's no holes in the side. This is a Barebow specific riser. Right, the grip is a rubber grip. It feels like all the rest of the recurves. Limb bolts. Look, the machine's really nice. This is a Cerakote finish. I don't know what that means. I don't think it's painted. I think it's meant to be really tough, right? This is the limb bolts. It looks nice. The limb bolts look good. It's got the ability to fit a weight. Now, he fitted a weight. Now, he wanted a particular colour. Don't ask me which colour he wanted, but he settled for orange. And it's not the colour he wanted. He wanted a different colour in the middle here. And I don't think I had the colour that he wanted here. Okay, so these risers come in a whole bunch of colours, and these weights come in a whole bunch of colours. Look, I think they look beautiful. So this is a chunk of weight. It weighs 350 grams because with Barebow, it's got to fit through a ring. Okay, so you want the weights internal. You need them close to the riser. You can't have stabilizers. Now, the rest he fitted to this, I'm going to guess he fitted a sniper rest. That's very common with Barebow. Anyway, he didn't like the bow. I don't know why. Probably because he likes a wooden bow. The shade. And we joke with him because we're like, you're going to shoot so much better with one of these bows. He just likes the wooden traditional bow, right? But he wanted this. So he came into the store. Well, he put it on Marketplace. So I'm going to say, like, let me get numbers wrong. I'm going to guess he paid $13.50 including the weight for this bow, right? So 2 weeks later he wants to sell it. So he puts it on Marketplace for about $1,000. I think, I could be wrong, but around that. It doesn't move, okay? He lent it to someone. They tried it. I don't know if they didn't like it or they wanted a different bow or whatever it was. So he brought it into my shop. He said, what will you give me for it? This is very hard for me. It's much better if people come in and say, look, would you take this for it? I think you can sell it for this. And I think that sounds about reasonable. Then I'm pretty happy, right? Because otherwise I've got to go, what's one of these risers sold for? Second hand. And I think there was one sold. And I can't remember what it sold for. But I'd look it up to try and see what the market is. But there's really no market because these are new and there's not many of them around second hand. Anyway, I think I would have paid $650. I think. And I think I will get $800. I give the government 10% of that, so I will make $70 when I sell it. That's what I think. He'll probably know. I brought it about 3 weeks ago, and I was waiting to do this review, and I've been really busy with orders and stuff, and the weather's been crappy, and brought the house, and just lots of busy stuff going on. Anyway, so we want to try this bow out. Now, the first thing I noticed is so he did a little texture mark around here. I don't know why. Probably to see if the rest moved. You can see some little pressure points where the rest was on. Now, here there's a mark. Just there. Now that surprises me in many cases because with an anodized riser you don't really get marks, and I thought this Cerakote was meant to be really tough. What this mark is, this is where the arrow struck the bow. Okay. Now I want to have a little talk about that. I'm not having to go at the customer, and he may think I'm having to go on him. I'm really not. These are common issues, and I try to address them because I try and educate people in archery, right? Because people go, oh, my rest broke, or this happened, or my arrow is snapped into. Real life situations happens all the time, right? Okay, so the first thing when you're shooting a recurve, it's really, really hard. The arrow has to bend around this riser. So it's got to flex enough to clear the riser. If it doesn't flex enough, it's going to shoot straight through, okay? Which may be okay. It will just means it will rub all the way through and wear out your plunger and wear out the arrow and cause some other issues. The vanes will strike and stuff. Okay. So that's if it's too stiff. If it's too weak, it bends and it whacks. Now the other reason why it whacks, there's a couple of reasons why it whacks the riser, is if you release the shot and you go like this. One of my staff will go, it's waving. You're waving at someone over there. Hi. So instead of your hand moving backwards, it actually moves away from your face. And when it moves away from your face, the arrow is then pointing in towards the riser because the grip here is not relaxed. You've created torque. And when you do that, the arrow is going to come in and smack the riser. And what will occur? The arrow will snap. Often. Okay? And people go, oh, the arrow was faulty. You just pluck the riser. Very, very common. Right? Very, very common. Now, if you've got a little stick-on arrow rest and the little wire snaps off, could be you've plucked the string. Could be the arrows are the wrong spine. Okay? Could be you've got the knocking point wrong up and down. But basically, you want the arrow slightly high on the string and down the center of the riser, or slightly out to the left. That's simple, right? Now, if you've got that occurring and the spine's right, you can test the spine. A whole video on tuning recurve bows and stuff, bare shaft tuning or paper tuning or walkback tuning. You can check the arrow spine, but you're never going to be able to get the bow to tune if you're doing this. I do this. Top archers do this. Especially when you're under pressure, you do this. You might be doing this in practice, and then when it comes to competition, you're out here doing this. Right? It's common. And don't beat yourself up over it. It's really, really common. It's very rare to have a beautiful release. If you see someone with a beautiful release, you just go, man, you've got a wonderful release. You're very, very lucky. And the chances are they shoot amazing scores. Okay? Right, so we're going to fit an RS to this. We're going to put some limbs in it and see what it feels like to shoot. I'm going to say with Barebow, you can see the weight. There's heaps of weight down the bottom here because you don't have a stabilizer. So the bow will sit straight up and down. That's what you want with a Barebow. If you don't have a specialized Barebow riser like this, then you can fit weights down here and weights down here to put the pressure downwards. But look, I really like the look of this riser. I like the feel of it. It's a very beautiful thing. So let's fit some limbs, some strings, and a string, and see what it feels like to shoot. Okay, so I fitted my limbs to this bow. These are like they're standard limbs. These are 44 pounds. They're an expensive limb. I fitted my standard string off my bow. I'm just putting a screw in the arrow rest, right? So last week, had a customer, and I had many customers, but I had a customer with a problem with these holes, not on this bow, on another bow. And he's like, well, the riser is tapped with a different size thread. I'm a car mechanic, I can tell that. There is only one size thread for these holes. That's it. There's one size thread for plunger buttons. That's it. If you have trouble fitting your little screw-in arrow rest or your plunger button, the problem is paint. You will see there is paint in these threads. There will be paint in pretty much all threads, right? And often what we have to do is we often have to run a tap through the hole just to clear it out, right? The other thing we do is we get, so this is a 5/16 thread. don't run a wrong size tap through it. It's a 5/16 24 thread. I'm going to say it's imperial, not metric. So 5/16-24 imperial tap you need, right? You can just get a little bolt. Make sure it's 5/16-24. I'm saying this because this is an issue. You're going to return stuff to me, blame me, and right now this is hard now for me to screw in. It's because this hasn't really been used, and there's a bit of paint in the thread. So you can get little metal bolts. You run that through it, like little bolts you use to screw in an arrow rest, right? Because it's made out of steel, and the steel tends to go through that, right? So it'll tend to chip off the paint or rub off the paint, and you'll be fine. Now the problem if you try and force your plunger button through a painted hole, your plunger button is made out of aluminium. It's softer than this. Right, so for car mechanics, a softer metal going against a harder metal, the softer metal is going to lose, okay? So you're going to stuff up your plunger button, not fix the hole. This really hurts, by the way. And then ring us up and say, well, I've actually buggered my plunger button and the riser, so you need to replace both of them. That's your problem, not mine. Even though we told you not to do that, right? So just don't force stuff. If you have problems, just ring up the shop and say, look, I'm sending it back. It's going to cost you $15 worth of post there and $15 back, and your problem's fixed. They run a tap through it. How often do these holes, plunger button holes, have paint in them and you have to run a tap through them? About 1 in 5. So then you're probably going to say, well, why don't you do that when you send out the bow, Stephen? Because if you did it, the customer would complain that it's second hand, and they didn't pay for a second hand riser. Now, if the customer said, can you please set up my bow for me, and you went to screw the plunger button in, it didn't go in there, you run the tap through, and they wouldn't know. They'd be happy. Because the bow's all set up, and they're happy to shoot, and they didn't know that you had to tap it out, and it's all good. Or you just ran a bolt through it and back, and it's all good. So always get the shop to set it up if the shop doesn't charge. Some shops charge a fortune, some shops don't know what they're doing. That's just a bugger if you've got one of those shops. Right, we're ready to shoot. So I've got this, we'll just get the center and we'll twang some arrows. So I'm going to tell you about a story, because I just generally dribble on. I went and brought some push bikes. 3 push bikes from a bike store. The bike store was right next to my archery shop. It looks pretty close. It'll be fine. The bike store was very close to my archery store. So I brought my son a BMX, I brought him a BMX, I brought him a mountain bike, and I brought myself a road bike. It came to, let's say, $3,000. Might have come to more than that. It might have come to $4,000. Okay, so did I get to ride any of the push bikes? No. Do you get to sit on them? No. You get to hand over $4,000 cash, and you've got to wheel them out to the car yourself, because none of the sales assistants help you. I then asked the sales assistant, who I'd spent less than a minute with, for a bike computer. And he said the bike computer is $100. And I said, do you fit that? He goes, yes, it costs $100 for it to be fitted. At which stage I chose not to buy the bike computer and just said, that's fine. You can buy the same bike computer on eBay for about $30 and you can fit it. Anyway, I didn't do it because I was like, well, I just thought it would be included. I never said that to him. I was just like, there's no customers in the store. There's 2 sales staff and you've just made a $4,000 sale, which you've clearly made some money on. Anyway, if that's the level of customer service, That's the level of customer service. Like even if he said $20, I probably would have been fine with it. But I was just like $100. How much time's involved in fitting a bike computer? Not a lot is the answer. All right, so let's have a feel. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is drawing the bow back feels the same as my normal bow because it's the same limbs, okay? So when you try a new riser, what you're looking at is how the grip feels. I really like the way this grip feels. It feels like a kind of a cross between a Win and Win, and maybe it does feel like some Win and Win grips because most of the Win and Win grips are different. And a Fivix grip. It's kind of narrow, but it feels good. It's kind of high, but kind of low. Kind of high, low. It's a nice feeling grip. So we're going to take this sort of shot. There's no vibration at all. Oh, I had a customer come in the other day, and he said, oh, my bow makes a noise. It's a recurve like this. Doesn't make that much noise, right? He's like, oh, people said my bow's very noisy. Look, a bow makes a noise because this is vibrating backwards and forwards like a guitar string. The limbs are vibrating backwards and forwards. The riser feels dead. It feels fantastic. There's no vibration in the riser. If you want to reduce the noise on a recurve bow and reduce vibration, you can add stabilizers. You can add little limb dampener things here where the string hits. You can add string silencers. You can add limb saver things on limbs. They do make a difference, and I don't know why I don't use them. Look, this riser felt fantastic. I'll put in the picture more. Oh, I'll point out that I'm not grabbing the bow. It's just loose, right? So if the bow was going to jump out of my hand, it would fall on the ground and it'd probably make a good video, but I think it'll be okay. Look, it feels really nice. Look, now the problem I have with all bows, they're all very good. All of them. The thing which I like about different recurves, and you can say, well, I shoot Fivix or whatever, I like grips. Whether it's compound bows or recurve bows, I like particular grips. I shoot a T-bow like hunting bow because I like the grip. I shoot the Fivix recurve bow because I like the grip. I also like the fact it had limited vibration and the limbs are really good and it's pretty well priced. And I have no warranty claims with Fivix. But this riser feels very, very nice. You can see it just sits there. It's a thing of beauty. Right, so I'm going to say, when a person decides to sell a bow secondhand, they're going to take a big loss, right? How much that loss is, well, it's up to them, and you know. But when you buy a bow secondhand, you're going to pay less than new. The question is, how much less, and how much will it sell for? And it's really, really hard for me to know what that number is. Like I've had Matthews bows that have been new for $2,300. I thought they'd sell for $1,300, and I had to get rid of them at $1,000, and that's less than I paid for it. So I lose money. I had the same with a Bowtech, and it's like, oh, I thought it would have gone for like half price or something because it's still a current model, but Matthews are harder to sell because they're module based, so you need to have the right modules, and people don't want to go and find modules. And whoa, that was a terrible release. Why was it a terrible release? Because it was a terrible release. Because when I shoot recurve normally, I release on a click. So when it goes click, I'm like, bang, get in this thing. And because I don't have a click, my body doesn't know when to release. That's like... Let's try a better one here. But this is really, really nice. It's very, very nice bow to shoot. If I was to shoot it, so most barebow shooters will shoot 3 fingers under, so they string walk. I don't know how to string walk, okay? I know the basics of how it works, but I don't know how to do it. I'd have to look up videos and I have to ask people in my shop how to do it. So I've never done it. And one thing, if you don't know how to do something, research it or ask people. But anyway, so you basically place your finger so far down, and then you use your point to aim. And somewhere down here, I don't know, because you're moving up and down, I don't know how that works. You're locking in here. Then you're aiming at the point and your string moves up and down. Anyway, when I shoot instinctive, recurve, barebow, I shoot split finger. And I pull back like that. I pull back and I just look down there and I just shoot. It's like throwing a tennis ball. It's just the way it was. And then people came up with this concept of string walking, where the string moves up and down, and you know, the closer you are, the further your hand's down, so the closer this is to your eye. And then the further back you are, the closer your hand is to the arrow. Creates some issues with tuning the bow. It creates a lot of downward pressure on the bow, which is why you'll see people who shoot often longer risers for barebow. But 25 is still the standard size, so I'll just shoot 3 feet. Well, actually, that wasn't too hard. It's a bit scary the first time doing anything. Yeah, when you shoot 3 fingers under, it creates a slightly different vibration, and it feels a bit different when you pull because it's not in the middle. But overall, the Mybo riser, the Mykan, I really like. I like the vibration, I like the weight, I like the finish, I like the colour. Price point, look, that's up to you whether you think it's good or bad and stuff. But right, so my only points on this riser, look, I'm very, very happy with it. I think with barebow recurve, there's a few other bows on the market. You've got the toe point Aerodyne, which has got these weights that can bolt on, which are kind of cool. And you can use any riser, okay? So you can use any riser and have huge success with it. A local lady in this state is shooting quite a cheap riser, a toe point unison, and shooting great scores, like scores similar to what I shoot with my sights. So with her 200, she's going to say it's a $300 purple bow, she's shooting scores similar to what I shoot with all my fancy stuff, and I've been shooting forever. Right, so the important bit is that the bow is purple or mirrored, whatever she got. This bow feels very nice. When you compare it to the top of the line Barebow recurve risers, I'm going to say the Gillo is really popular. Why is the Gillo really popular? Because it's got internal weights. I'm going to say maybe the Gillo company sponsor a lot of the Barebow archers. I'm going to say Ryan in my store who shoots Barebow recurve shoots a Gillo. He shot this. He said it was nice. I'm going to say most risers are the same. So Ryan has shot basically most of the risers. He shoots similar scores with them all. It's just what riser you like the look of. And I think with the Gillos, maybe they like all the axe stuff that bolts onto the risers and these little weights that screw on, and maybe that's what people like. And I'm not having a go at Gillo. I'm really not. Gillo is a great company. It's just there's so many choices, and they're all so similar, and they're all really good, right? So when you're looking to buy something, And you're like, oh, which one should I get? Look, they're all really good. I'm going to say one of the things with Gillo is they have generally heaps of weight adjustment because they've got these pivoting limb pockets. I don't know if the new Barebow one's got that, but yeah, we do reviews on all these bows. But this is nice. It's a nice bow. Would I prefer sight things here and clicker thing here so I could shoot it for target archery? Look, maybe. But this is a specialised, top-of-the-line Barebow recurve riser. That's why you're buying it. You're not buying this bow to shoot target recurve with it. I think it looks cool. And I think it would probably look okay with like a plunger button thing in here. But Mybo has target recurves. All right, so they have got a target recurves. So you can have a look at those. I'll throw up a picture of what they look like. But this is lovely. The colour weight looks nice. Look. If it's $800, if it's $800, I assume it's $800. That's what it'd be sold for, I guess. Or I paid $900. I don't know. Anyway, it'll be somewhere around there. Look, it's probably at $800, and if it was $1,300 new, that's a really good buy because it's $500 less. As soon as it gets closer to the new price, less of a deal, but the further it gets away from the new price, the better the deal. And you go, yeah, look, cool. I like this riser. It's a nice thing. I wouldn't mind to try Barebow. Anyway, really nice bow. I like the feel of it. It comes with a cover to put it in. But yeah, really nice bow. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Hope that's been helpful. Thanks for watching. Bye.